Brandy Pet.
Welcome. Happy Friday, everybody. It's me, Brandy P, with the Yes, I Am the Veteran podcast. And on cue, these are already moving. So this is our Breast Cancer Awareness Boobie podcast that we are doing a cross podcast with Miss Amy from Your Not So Classy Mom. And honestly, how has everybody been doing this week? I know it's been a very wild week for us. I was very thankful that we were able to get our Navy veteran tattooed this week. And I will show some pictures here shortly, but let me go ahead and bring on Miss Amy. Hey girl, how you doing?
Oh, nothing. Just sharing our live video here.
So we both decided that we wanted to do something to show awareness. We were going to be ghosts with our boobies cut out, but then we realized that we needed our eyes to see and navigate.
Yeah.
And like these ones want to be on real boobs. Like I had a friend like that he does like alternative photography, and he gave me these.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm never gonna wear these in 2 lifetimes. And literally, he's made a liar out of me in less than 4 months. That is impressive. But
so ahead. Yes. Anyways, I guess it's our boobie. Yeah, the sheet and ghost thing. I like my boobs are not long enough for that.
I feel like mine are too long.
Like my new ones, my new boobs are not long enough for that.
For me, I feel like mine would just rest comfortably on like the desktop, and my concern would be they would say those are some really long boobs, and I'd say you're not wrong.
Those must have been like some like 38 like double longs or something.
Double longs. I mean, breastfeeding like does it too, man. Like they don't tell you all of the things that your kids can take, and boobs could definitely be one of them.
Yeah, right. So yeah, here we are with our boobies, talking about boobies.
Yeah, let me see them.
Yeah. So
I don't move them too much because I feel like mine will just pop right back off. But we really felt that having some breast cancer awareness in this month especially was really important. Yes, we're cracking some jokes, but it's all in good fun. And it's really to discuss an important topic. And it was something that I really didn't realize, like the statistics, until I was researching. In 2010, there was a VA study that found that the most commonly diagnosed cancer in women is breast cancer. The highest cancer in males is prostate cancer, and it's accounting for 30% of cases, and 1 out of 8 women they believe will develop breast cancer at some point in their lives.
Yes.
And a lot of people, they don't think, it could be me. And I think a lot of us were so afraid. We don't want to broach the topic, and it is very important, early detection, speaking with your doctors if there's anything wrong, and being honest with yourself.
No, I mean, all of that's important. It's kind of like what my sister said. My backstory is like Brandy and I, we became close friends within the past year. I am also part of WTF Nation Radio as their executive assistant. And but I guess on another side is like I was a firefighter EMT. Like was a first responder. My ex-husband was in the Army, and I did the whole Army wife thing for a while, and it just until recently, like my own family, like we really didn't, like a lot of people, they just kind of like a history, like your grandparents, and it's kind of spaced out. For my family, it was like all at once.
Wow.
And so it was with my mom and sister were both diagnosed in 2019. Like, and my sister was only 28 at the time.
That's very young.
It is very young. And what the thing is like my mom, she's been at stage 4 since then. And she's been battling it. And it's kind of like what my mom did do. She went and got the genetic testing done. And so like, all of us did it. Like, and because she was positive for the gene, and that she has, the breast cancer, we were able to get the genetic testing done for free. And when I got it done, I was like pregnant while it happened. And of course, when I tested positive for the BRCA2 gene mutation, I was like, oh my God, like, what if I have it? Like, I'm pregnant and here we go. And it's kind of like, it was just, I don't know, to me, it's kind of strange. Like our family, there was like hardly like practically no cancer until like bam. And part of me is, and we all know, like our whole family knows, if my mom would have done her mammograms and all of that, like probably, a while ago, like she wouldn't be where she is now with, you know, um, fighting it. And my mom's she's a very independent woman, strong woman. I mean, she was a truck driver for the longest time, and she had to give that up, because, she lost her medical card, because of, the cancer and stuff. So, and I guess it's kinda like, with me and my other sisters, we're just strong women, um, and it just I think the biggest thing is she was always putting everybody first, like, all of us, girls and my sisters and except yourself. And the thing is it kinda like, when you go on a flight and they tell you, like, you gotta put your oxygen mask on first and then, help everybody around you. It's the same thing with breast cancer. Like, you need even, like, your health, you need to take care of yourself first. That way you can be around to take care of everybody else.
Yeah, absolutely. And early detection is so very important too. There was actually a 2017 VA study that found that males are 33% more likely to die of breast cancer and 60% are more likely to be diagnosed at stage 2, where
Mhm.
60% of women are diagnosed at stage 1. So, I mean, breast cancer can happen in males, it can also happen in females.
Yes.
And it is important that if you are noticing any changes, and a lot of them, may not be what you would expect. Like, not everyone has the swollen mass. Like, they may have other symptoms and they may not realize it, but it is so important that you're going in, you're getting checked. And if
Mhm.
something is off, you're talking to your doctors about it. They're even
Yes.
finding that the Camp Lejeune water cases has listed breast cancer as a covered health condition for anyone there over 30 days between August of 1953 to December of 1987.
See, and I kinda, in the back of my mind with a lot of that with the not just Camp Lejeune, but even, like, during, the wars with Iraq and Afghanistan, the burn pits, like, I'm kinda curious to see how the studies are with women who were over there and, like, all that toxicity, like, if it ramped up, like, if they have the gene and if it ramped up or what's going on with that. And another thing is, so men can carry they can have the BRCA gene mutation as well, and if they do, of course, they're, at a higher risk for the breast cancer. But so that gene, it's not just breast cancer, it's gynecological cancer as well, like ovarian and uterine. And with men, it's just testicular and prostate cancer.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, so it's important for men to also get checked to see if they have that gene mutation or not. And um, even say, like, down the line, like, they've had several family members with that. The women, they kind of need to be on alert too, because it's kind of like, I don't want to say the same thing, but the risks are there.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially if you know, like, you've had genetic testing in your family and they've made
Hmm.
you aware of this, it's important that you're getting your testing done earlier than the average of, like, they say mammograms, they start at 45 and they go
Yes.
to 55. And the VA, that's what they start at as well, because they usually go fairly standard across the board.
Hmm.
However, a lot of women and males, like, we don't get our checks done at 45. Wait,
Yeah.
I don't have time for that. I can do it later. I can do it later. But I can tell you now, a lot of women and males that I've spoken with that have had it, they knew, like, they felt
Hmm.
off months, if not years beforehand. But they thought they
Like,
did it.
oh, it's just this. Yeah.
Well, even in Bernie's case, like, when she had her testing done in 2D, it didn't show it, like, the mass, because it was right behind her nipple. But when she did it
Hmm.
in 3D and they upgraded the technology, at that point, that was when it was found. There was quite a large mass that had been there probably several years. And
Hmm.
so that's why they say that a lot of partners will find, like, abnormalities in their partner first rather than the
Hmm.
person. But I mean, if you're noticing these issues, absolutely speak with somebody. Like, don't wait on it.
Yes.
Absolutely speak with someone. It is better that it's a false alarm than the other way.
Hmm. Of course. And, like, with like you said, like the mass behind her nipple. So in my family, the other issue is too is like we had very dense breast tissue. And if you have very dense breast tissue, it is very hard Like a mammogram will not always pick up on any masses or anything like that. So with my little sister, they found they did find the cancer on her left side, but when they went in for her double mastectomy, even though she had all, not just the mammogram, but like the scans, like MRI, the PET scans and stuff. When they went in there and did her surgery, they found that the cancer on the other side as well, but it just did not detect it. So it's very important, especially if you have very dense breast tissue, is to like not just do the mammogram, but also possibly see if you can do other imaging such as an MRI or anything else to
And then
make
we
sure it's
already know, yeah, in your radiography report, if the tissue is particularly dense, and if you're not someone that could, easily read a radiographer report because they can be confusing, you can always ask
Mhm.
the doctor to read it back to you and say, what does it say? And especially in the VA system, it is so much more. I'm not saying it's more
Yeah.
important, but it is ridiculously important to be on your doctors for exams. I know I've had critical
Mhm.
findings in other areas
Mhm.
for like 18 months and they didn't catch it. And so it is very
Yeah.
important that you are your own best advocate. And I advocate
Mhm.
that a lot on the show because of the fact that it is so very important. Granted, I need to take my own advice more, but at the end of the day, it's important to be your own best advocate. And you want to practice the 7 P's of self breast exam, which are position,
Mhm.
posture, palpitations, pressure, pattern, practice, and planning.
Yes. So basically, so my sister said it best. Like she goes, get to know your breasts, like feel them up, like be like, hey, like just get to know them. And then once you do get to know them, like you'll know, okay, well, this is not normal. And then, bring it up, to your doctor and go from there. But like she's always stated to get to know your breast or any part of your body. So that way when something is like, wait, this is not normal, you can just be like, oh, hey doc, like something's going on here. Let's check it
Exactly.
out. And then so the other thing is too is so with her being diagnosed at 28 and within the families and they recommend is so how do I so with her being diagnosed at 28, they recommend like the 10 years prior to do your mammograms. So whether it's the baseline like you said that was you said 45, correct?
Mhm.
And 55 and all that. So if you like a close family member in your family was diagnosed at a certain age, they recommend that the people, women, even men before that to have their cancer screenings done 10 years prior.
Yes.
Yes. So with that, like my daughter, she just turned 17. So she has to start her mammograms at 18.
Oh wow, she's starting young. There, she doesn't even get like
Yeah.
a chance to not have the booby pancake pictures. Dang,
Yes, and it's not a bad thing because they
but
get a
it's good.
baseline. Yes, so you get a baseline, and then once she does have them done, they can like kind of compare and be like, okay, well that's normal, that's not normal, that wasn't there, and to make sure that because I want for her to get it early and
Absolutely.
not have to go through chemo or anything like that. She hasn't been tested for the gene exactly yet. She will be, and then, of course, it's going to be up to her if she's going to do any of, like what I did. And even though I have yet to have, breast cancer, and because of my whole family history with my sister, my mom, and my maternal grandmother, my mom's mom, and then my dad's twin sister was diagnosed, and this was all within like 3 years.
Wow.
So I made a decision to go ahead and just cut them off and give me new ones, pretty much.
You can switch them out
Uh,
with yours.
yeah. So, and I kind of joke around. It's like, yeah, TRICARE, paid for my new boobs, because it's the myth, right?
Usually the TRICARE when they pay for the boobs for us, it's like one boob was here and like one boob was here because it was like a
Yeah.
training hospital.
Yeah.
So they were like some like yo-yo boobs. Hello, Rescue Residents. So this is the nonprofit that they actually repurposed
Hi.
ambulances into portable housing for homeless veterans, which I
That's
think
cool.
are pretty awesome. And especially with us being on the rig, how many times did we actually live in there, but not actually live in there? Come on. But so no, tell us more about your story, and I apologize for interrupting you.
No, you're fine. So, but yeah, like it was kind of just like bam, like our family, all like I would say everybody had cancer, but majority of our family had cancer. And then when I, like I had the gene, and then of course after, I had little guy there, and I mean it was a hard decision to make. Do I just,
Yeah.
just kind of hope for the best, or go ahead and like and take care of it all, because like, I mean, I was pretty much told it wasn't a matter of uh if I was going to get it or not. It was more of a like matter of when,
Hmm.
in a way. So, and then after, learning, like it was also my dad's side, I just went ahead and was like, okay, we're just going to do this, because I wanted to live, be around longer for my children.
Of course.
Um, and of course, I want to try and, be on earth a little bit longer too, but it was more for my children, and to make sure that, I can, watch them grow up and do their big life events, even though, I've done the majority of my big life events, but I really wanted to be around to see them, accomplish their goals and be there for them.
Yeah, and I mean it's very traumatizing, like to
Oh
you
yeah.
when they see you in that way too. And I mean, I thankfully I had my triple limb salvage years before I had my daughter, but had she
Hmm.
been there, there would have most certainly been trauma that she would have had to have overcome just seeing me in that state,
Hmm.
and it was a lot. And for you to be that brave and to take that step, and a lot of women look at their identity as their breasts or
Yeah.
body parts that they also like, but I mean a lot of women, that's how they view their identity. And so to make such a decision, even if you're switching them out and having the mindset, it doesn't replace what you had originally. And I think a lot lot of people
Yes.
maybe think that, oh, they just want to fake boobs. No, no, no.
No,
Like,
no, not
please don't
really. No,
lose you.
no. I mean, yes, it is your identity, but I think what a lot of people don't realize is, like, with all my kids, I've nursed them. Like I fed my children, from my old breast. I've, given them life from them. And then of course, I really did like the old ones. I mean, they weren't so bad. Um
They're like low mileage, like drag was
except,
good.
they might kill me, but they weren't so bad.
They're slightly
Um
insidious, but outside of that, they look cool.
yeah, exactly. So, with that being said, is what a lot of people don't realize is when you kind of go through that surgery and stuff, it does it kind of it just what body dysmorphia, like like your body is like you said, trauma, like you feel mutilated afterwards is how I felt.
Yeah.
My first surgery, it's like they did the double mastectomy, and I originally opted for it's called the deep flap. And basically they graft, I had a fluffier belly, the fat tissue from down here, and then they used that to reconstruct my breast. So, and that was, they
It's
turned out
more of
all
a
right.
natural, like sort of
Yeah, it was more
thing, I
natural.
guess, if that makes sense. Like because sometimes people don't like that overly fake look, and some people they don't want to have under the breast implants put in because they may have more issues with it and
Hmm.
they don't like how it feels, or it may not be something that works for them. But kind of repurposing your own food for like a better use. I mean, I
Yeah.
would do it also. That would be me. Like I'd be like,
Yeah.
take all of it. Like you
I
need
mean,
an extra. So can I donate some?
I did, get a tummy tuck out of it. So I lost the fupa and got boobs and a tummy tuck. So,
Hey,
anyway,
that's rough. That's a rough switch.
it,
Oh man,
you
that's
know,
a hell of a trade off.
it was honestly, that was a rough recovery. Like, because not only that they went in and did all this, like, I mean, I was filleted from hip to hip.
Hmm.
And, and they went in there, of course, they did, they had to, my muscles, tighten everything back up. And I think recovery time, I'm trying to think, it was from February. Like, I could not even lift anything really heavy until like
Yeah,
August.
cutting the rectus abdominis like sucks enough for like a C-section, so a much larger
Yeah.
incision in the same muscle groups. Yeah,
Hmm.
no, because you use your
Yeah, it was rough.
muscles for almost everything. You just don't realize it. So when
Yeah, you don't realize it until like, yeah.
exactly. Yeah, that's when you're like, oh, yeah, now I know to use it for, and it's not just for sitting on the couch. Uh,
Yeah.
it's definitely a long process. I know Bernie was telling me her story yesterday.
Mhm.
And I was hoping she'd be on tonight, but if anything, we'll have her come on another day. But she had 17 surgeries and she had to fight for 3 years. And it was a hell of a fight for her. And what she went through, I mean, she had to do nuclear medicine and hyperbaric medicine.
Mhm.
And then she had an infection in her bone as well that was quite problematic. And I believe she ended up losing some of the bone in her chest. But
Aw.
it's a lot, and it's a lot of scars in places you wouldn't realize. Like Bernie, one of hers is on her back, and I'll show a picture of the before, and she did give me permission. But the before, you could see the. Oh, do I just have the after? All right. Oh, well, Brandy missed it. Well, I can show you that. So, whoops! I thought I put it on there. All right, too late. But so basically, on her back where the tattoo is, like that was a linear scar
Mhm.
that went the entire way. And so for her, like that was the tattoo that our Marine
That's
brother
really pretty.
Winston did, and in a record time. And he does so much for veterans. So I want to shout out his shop, So No Hard Feelings Tattoo in Florida. Definitely gotta give our brother from Ink Master some credit there because someone as well known as him, you never see like where an artist would donate their time like that and
Mhm.
see that he does it again and again for our veterans. I truly appreciate him. So that's us. Look at Bernie. She's
Aw.
so cute. I love her. Look at Chris Cheesin. And those are all of his. He won all those trophies, and it goes around his shop like 3 times. Literally, like there's rows and rows, and his daughter is even like crazy.
That's an awesome picture.
Yeah, like I really, it was really fun, and this was during her appointment.
Mhm.
Like, look at him. He's just focused. He's just like, it's gonna be perfect, And she's like, I want a sword, and he's like, I got you, and he had it. And this is a picture of her when she was doing her hyperbaric medicine,
Aw.
and this is another picture too. But yeah, she had quite the fight, and I was very thankful that we were able to get her tattooed. Now you're next, Miss Lady. This lady is so
Yes.
selfless. Like she was the one that it was a conversation that we had actually on one of my ketamine infusion days. Sometimes it's a good day. This is one of
Yeah.
those times. But we were talking, and we were talking about that we need to do more things for responders as well as veterans, and this is something that we really don't see much of in what we were talking about. And so, I was trying to find a veteran and, trying to find a first responder, but I didn't want to post it on my social media because I didn't want anyone to feel like that we didn't get to them or their
Yeah.
nipples weren't good enough or no, like, no, trauma is trauma. I don't judge in that way. And
Yeah.
this amazing lady here has no nips, none.
No, none whatsoever.
He was trying to
I
get
had
other women. That is selfless. That is selfless. You're donating. Like that's something I would do. I'd be like, yeah, let them do it as I'm bleeding out. Like, yeah. Like
yeah.
honestly, like
Right.
I mean, I gotta clap for that one. Like, a woman not even mentioned it. I had to like come after you. Like you had mentioned it in a conversation. I was like, wait a minute. So I
No,
was
I
like,
would have
come on.
fully like helped you find someone else
But she
because like
was like the
I'm
whole time, no nipples. Like I'm just like
like
really like at any
I'm
time we could have ended the search had you just mentioned it once. But she wasn't looking at for her personal gain, and that's why I love her because of the fact that she just really wanted to help other people, and I was like, all right, we're gonna help other people and you. So
yeah,
she's next in the
yes.
chair, and I told her that
I'm
she needs to get
excited.
some last action hero nipples, where like one's a smiley face and like one's a normal nipple, something cool like that. If I could customize my nipple, I would make them like so cool,
See?
like Rammstein nip, something cool, like maybe something where I look down and I'm like, nice. Like I wouldn't even care about what the dude or anyone else thought. Like, no, these are for me now.
Actually, yeah, right. And here's another thing what people don't realize, like it's like women when we do like when they do the mastectomies and go through this, I wasn't really ready for the fact that I would no longer have them. Like my
Yeah,
sister told me,
a
she's like,
lot.
well, when they go in there and if you get to keep them, you won't have any feeling. Like, cause they do. Like I
Yeah,
have
that's what a lot of people say.
no feeling
No
here, like
feeling.
none.
Yeah, like she didn't feel any of her tattoo in her back. She was like, "This is awesome. I don't feel anything." I'm like, I'm so jealous right now, but I feel bad at the same time.
So yeah, like I have like because when they go in, they take, the breast tissue and they take, everything, they try and get as much out of there. And part of that is like your nerve endings.
Yeah, and nerves
So
go back.
yeah, no. I mean, I guess maybe sometimes they do eventually, but I doubt that they're gonna be
To an
coming.
extent, and they take a very, very long time, like decades.
Yes.
So that's why that's why I say that. I apologize.
No, you're fine. You're fine. So which is kind of funny because I'll just stuff in my bra and at the end of the day I'll forget that it's there and then I take my
Mom
bra
in
off and
general.
yeah, just because they are pockets and
I got in
it
trouble
all
on C-SPAN about this. Like, I'm gonna tell the Titty Mint story again because that happened. Like,
I have like
literally, yeah. Tracy still talks about this. She'll bring it up to me every so often, and like to make me laugh. I'm like, it's still not funny enough where I'm not gonna be less mad. Like, I mean, it's funny now, but like, I was so pissy then. But no,
I
like,
mean, I've even like forgot my phone. Like I have a
oh
bad
yeah,
habit of just sticking my
keys. I
phone in
lost
there.
keys down there. Like, it's no
Yeah.
man's land. Man, snacks. I pulled out goldfish.
Yes. Yeah. They're
Occasions
booby
where like
trapped.
serious though, why? And like your kids when they're like little, like they think it's like a snack cave. And I think that like my
Right.
daughter used
Yeah.
to like, pull down my shirt in airplanes, and I'd always find like snacks afterwards. I'm like, why are there fruit snacks in my bra? But no, like my
That's
friend didn't believe that the old boob wallet was a thing, and I was like, it very much is a thing. You can hide all kinds of things
yeah.
in your boob wallet. And so we were going on the floor of Congress, and she had some surgeries on her mouth, so
Mhm.
she, gets dry mouth very easily, and the Congress is very particular what you can bring in on the floor of Congress. Basically nothing,
Yeah.
like, not even gum. Like you can't take anything. And so I was like,
Wow.
I'm like, put some mints in your pocket, and just if they say something, then you give them up. But that way you at least have mints. Don't be like bragging about it or anything, but at least you have something to keep your mouth salivated.
Yeah.
I found out about those special mints later, but I'd been sent her those too now. But basically, she lost the 10 mints in her Spanx. First of all, how do you miss a wrinkle in your Spanx, much less like a cluster of mints? Like, come on, you had to have known, anyways. But we basically get on the floor, like we just cleared security, and she's like, hits me. She's like, I need a mint, I need a mint. And I'm like, excuse me? I was like, I put 2 mints down my bra to prove to you that the boot wallet works. Like they weren't meant for commercial use. Like that wasn't the point of this. And I was like, I'm like, quick, like look around, like no one's seeing me, but I'm sure it's on 50 video cameras. Like quick, fish it out. I'm like, take it. And like, that's it. Like I don't care what is going on with you. Like you're gonna suck it up in the desert mouth. I do not care. I'm trying to behave so hard. Like Rosie was
I
there, and like C-SPAN, and like Fox and New York Times, and like
could you imagine? Like
like
Fox
the
News
Furious and Me
gotta
Foundation probably saw this go down on their B footage. Like Lieutenant Dan's got questions now, probably, but like it's got to be on B roll somewhere because we were like roll one, like sitting right next to the congressmen and senators that were like coming out of session. And so literally, like, we were just there, like, very as close to the Rosies as we could be, but they were all in their own group to the
Mhm.
left. And so then she hits me again. I'm like, I'm like, we just had this conversation. I don't care if you need to bribe someone, you need to talk to somebody, you need to figure something out, like suck on something that maybe isn't. I don't care, but like, just don't like. Literally, I'm not pulling it out for you. I'm not whipping it out for you on the floor of Congress. I'm not whipping. I believe my exact words were, "I'm not whipping out a titty mint for you on the floor of Congress." And I was just like, "No, I did not just say that." I was like,
Yeah, a dry mouth is horrible,
it
especially like
was.
I get it bad, like with the meds that I'm on,
Same.
and you're just like, I'm always sucking down liquids. Uh-oh.
My light turned off. It's like this like eco light, and after so long, if you don't move enough, like it turns off.
Yeah.
I've only like been able to like mess with it a few times where it actually worked correctly, and then as soon as I left, it reset. I was like, why? But I digress. Boobs are,
Anyways,
yes, but take care of your tatas was the whole point of that. And the
yes,
boob
it
wall.
is.
So,
Yeah, just
what is
I'm
something that
sorry.
you found on your journey that you were surprised a lot of people don't know?
Um, I think maybe in a way, I don't know how to describe this. Like, I mean, I just explained like the whole nipple thing. Like, you don't realize that is, that's one of the big things that happens. But I think the whole emotion, like roller coaster with it. Like when I first decided to do, it, I was like, all right, cool. I try to look at the bright side of things, like I am getting like with the deep flap, I'm getting a tummy tuck out of it. Like I get new boobs, they get put back where they were before the kids. But like after like that happens, it's just like when things are healing and it doesn't look right, you don't realize it's just you don't feel normal.
Mhm.
Like, then I mean, there was a few times I was like, well, why did I do this? And so after the whole thing with the deep flap thing that I did is like I did that and then I lost a bunch of weight. And because all of this up here was fat tissue, guess where I lost most of the weight was up here. So I
Mhm.
just, it was like, just sags of skin. And so I felt like really depressed after that because I was kind of being hopeful and then I lost the weight and then here I am just okay, like why did I do this? However, what's kind of nice and I know a lot of people don't agree with Obamacare, but when women have their double mastectomies due to breast cancer and stuff, your insurance company has to pay for the reconstruction. Like even if like you do a preventative thing because you have a strong family history of it and you have the gene, so they have to keep doing the surgeries and approve it until you are happy with it. So thankfully, last a year ago, I spoke, with my plastic surgeon, and a big shout out to, her, Dr. Bianca Chen. If you're in Cincinnati and you're going through the same thing as my family, and you need, she is the one to see. She's at Christ Hospital at Cincinnati. And then on top of that, like the actual breast surgeon that, went in and, took out all the old tissue and stuff is Dr. Jennifer Manders. She is now the chief of medicine at Christ Hospital. So they're phenomenal doctors. Like they get down there like on a personal level.
It's also
Um,
important to have like that feeling that someone understands you and you're not just like the next person in the queue, like that you
yeah.
matter and the results matter to them. And to
Hmm.
find those doctors, especially in the plastics world, it's very nice to find.
Hmm. And so with Dr. Manders, like she has been treating, my sister and my mom and of course they see the oncologist too, Dr. Cody. But like it was kind of like it wasn't like I didn't feel they didn't make me feel like I was just another patient when I was there. They're like, "Oh, you're, so and so sister," and they already knew my family history. Like they took the time to I mean, they could have been like, "Okay, you're just another patient," even though my family had been there. They knew the history. And the same with Dr. Chen is like she, had operated on my sister and made sure, and then and we even talked, they'll even ask me, so how's your sister doing? How's your mom doing? How, kind of like, a friend, yeah. So I like if you're in the Cincinnati, I mean, I would travel to Cincinnati to come, get treated by them if you can. Uh it's been, they've been phenomenal and I don't feel like I'm just like you said another patient um when I see them. And so when I, saw her this, past and I kind of went through some trauma too. Like and she saw the difference between when she first saw me and now and she's like you've done such a glow up. Like she noticed that.
I love that.
Uh
Because refinding yourself after severe trauma like that, it is a challenge. People think like,
it
oh,
is.
I don't know. Like it can take years, if not longer. Therapies
Mhm.
is definitely helpful. It's not easy to come back from something that
No.
life altering. And yes, they may have put something in, but sometimes people wait like years between like all their surgeries
Mhm.
where the tissue has matured enough where it would
Mhm.
hold the implant or like the reshaping or
Mhm.
like the scar minimization because of the fact that it's not super like bam, 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 bam. Like some people, their
Yeah.
treatments are different. In Bernie's case, she had severe radiation issues where she had to sleep, like her arm, like she said that she would
Mhm.
have to sleep with like a special pillow prop right here because if she didn't, her arm skin would fuse to her chest. And so
Wow.
for her, like, wait, and she, so many pictures about, just they'd be one breast or the other. Like I mean, she went through hell and back and her body absolutely showed it. And, she to see how strong she is now is really a testament to how strong she is.
Mhm.
And a lot of veterans, like, they don't know that if they are diagnosed with breast cancer, like, there are forms that you can fill out so you can get your 100% while you're getting your treatment and then for
Mhm.
another 6 months afterwards. So
Hmm.
for those veterans that are not at a 100% and they're worried, like, how am I going to pay X? How am I going to pay Y? This
Hmm.
is something that they did put in place for people while they are getting chemotherapy and treatment. So it is important that that there are resources out there in the system.
So that one like you're bringing up resources is one. They're called the Pink Ribbon Girls. Like if you Google it, it's another organization, and you don't have to be a veteran or anything. Basically, their mission is they help out any woman who is going through any type breast cancer, gynecological cancer, or even like if you're doing like what I did, the preventative measures. They'll whatever you need, they'll do it, whether it's babysitting for appointments, transportation, making meals, they'll do it. Um, so if you are in that boat, like look them up. It's kind of like I wouldn't say an army of ladies, but that is their mission.
But it's having
Is
support, with
yes.
other people that can understand. They don't necessarily have to be
Mhm.
women, but sometimes there are more women in specific groups. But, it's something that having that connection and sisterhood with other women that understand you. I
Mhm.
know for me, like with my experience with my triple limb salvage, I couldn't relate to anybody. Like
Yeah.
my case was so different than everybody. Like even now, like I found some people with similar surgeries and I can connect with them. And it makes me so happy when I can do that because of the fact that it's so rare to have that tribe. And so it's important to know that places like
Mhm.
that exist and that you go ask questions. You can talk about
Yes.
issues that you're having, if you need to seek therapy, which is very common with cancer survivors
Yes.
because of
Yes.
the fact that the trauma is real.
Yeah, like I call my therapist when I do go see them. It's like that's my bitch session. Like I just bitch about everything. It's like a neutral person. Like I don't have to worry about, it getting around. But like that is very important. Like when you go through, like what I did, or if with cancer or anything, is like to have that outlet to talk about it. Because I think like with, us, like we're always, helping people, like we just kind of bottle it all up inside, and then at a point you just kind of explode, or you just kind of like have this whole breakdown, and like don't talk to me, or like for for whatever period. But having that therapy and talking to someone, it is a huge help to help you kind of heal through all of this.
Yep, absolutely. I have done a lot of work with the Curtin Up Cancer Foundation, and what they
Hmm.
do is they highlight 6 cancer survivors a year through creative song and dance and tell their life story. And it's all different types of cancer. So
Hmm.
you hear all different types of stories from all different people from walks of life, from Olympians, actors, actresses, just like someone that hadn't really done anything huge like that, but they have an amazing story, but they would actually be there and be honored at this event. They treat them like a total celebrity for the night. They have their own assistants and
Hmm.
they're brought to the front of the stage at the end of it and given things. But what they're doing with this gala is they raise funds for their programs. One is for a therapy program for cancer survivors, Voices of Recovery, I believe it's called. And they also had what I really liked is they would actually have a guitarist in residence and they would play music for people getting chemotherapy, but they couldn't play the harp anymore. This is kind of twisted, but I'm gonna tell the story. So, like the founder, she wanted this harp, like that. She was on this
Hmm.
harp. Like, I want a harp to be playing when they're doing this, which is awesome. A harp is beautiful. However, you got to look
Hmm.
at your audience. In this case, a cancer survivor or cancer patient was getting her chemotherapy and she fell asleep. Woke up to hearing the harp and thought she died. So they had to immediately change the harp. I mean, in theory, it made sense, but the guitarist in residence probably a little bit. I mean, unless he's playing Stairway to Heaven, which that would be kind of messed up.
I'm sure that.
I was like, I'm trying to laugh so hard, but like the dark medic humor, I'm struggling.
Yeah,
But
I know that's what we
they,
have. So.
but it's great that there's so many different organizations out there that like the Susan Komen Foundation. There's
Mhm.
so many out there. So if you're struggling, if it's something that you're fighting, if you have questions, there's tons of information on these respective pages. There's places that you can go that that peer accredited sources. Definitely if you have
Mhm.
questions, ask your providers. Speak with specialists.
Yes. Yes, and I mean, my inbox is always open. Like, if you have questions, just, message me. Like, you could Amy Donnelly on Facebook, or even just go to WTF Nation Radio, like,
Yes.
message our page, ask for me. I'm more than willing and to sit down and talk to you about, what to expect, or, even just a
Yeah,
vent.
if you have questions, people, it's
Yeah.
normal to have questions, but if you're not asking these questions, like that's when it becomes dangerous, especially with something like that.
And even if, like, you have a family member, like, you're watching them fight this horrible, horrible disease, and like, you want to, you need someone to talk to, because you kind of feel like you don't want to impede on them, or add any, like, my inbox is open as well for that.
Yes, I really was curious. Like if cause we were gonna be ghosts at first, but then we realized we needed our eyes. But I would have died if Edith would have popped on smoking a cigarette through that hole, though. I would have died.
I was I really thought about, like, being Edith tonight and doing this. However, I
I
had been,
know it
like,
was serious, serious funny business.
super busy. Like, I mean, like, as you went on, like, about me, like, helping others tomorrow, like, I've been in charge of planning this fall bash here in this little town of New Richmond, Ohio. And all the money that we earn from this is going to the local school district,
Oh,
their nonprofit, to help pay for overdue lunch balances.
oh,
Because,
that's awesome.
so, yes, unfortunately, I guess with the whole COVID thing, they got that, the money, every kid, didn't matter what income they were or whatever, it was a free lunch. But now they went back to that. And I've been that mom. Like, you made $20 too much to qualify, and you're like, well, fuck. Like, how am I gonna, pay
And
this?
lunches add up, man. Especially if you got more than one kid. Like some schools charge more than I think they should. What they're
So for the elementary students, I believe it's like 325, 350 a lunch. So I mean, it adds up. Um, Last year we raised like $1,500, and it is kind of like a shameless plug, but
no, it's
anyhow,
important.
it is important. So, and I also look at it like, a lot of those kids, those parents are veterans, or, former first responders, or first responders as well. So if whatever it helps them in the community. So that's what we're doing tomorrow. I've been crazy busy trying to get, the town decorated for Halloween, and, make sure everything is, mapped out and organized. So I would have done Edith today if it wasn't for that.
I get that. Well, speaking of follow-ups, so the women veteran. So thanks for the support, guys, with the women
Mhm.
veteran calendar. The ladies at the women veteran calendar sure could use your support still with purchasing calendars or planners for the next year. We did vote on which nonprofit we wanted the funds to go to, and it was they chose two: women veterans glamping or lady veterans glamping, and also the Camp Shield, which I thought was really cool. That not only were people able to choose if they wanted to participate, but they could also choose
Mhm.
where the money goes, which is usually never the thing. Usually they tell you where it's going, and then you kind of like you're like okay, but no, we raised over $1,000 from the merch. The double ask me about my double D's and DD214, or this girl has double D's DD214. And some of the merchandise, as well as the raffle, we raised over $1,000, which is going directly back to those nonprofits, and that's not even including calendar sales. So there's some pretty amazing women in the next year's calendar.
Mhm.
And though I'm not in it, I was apparently still on the banner, and my ex-boyfriend, it was next to his tattoo shop. And literally, like he walked in, he was looking at my face, and kept calling me like a crazy ex-wife. And I was like, dude, like, why are you calling me? And he's just like, I saw you on a banner, and he sent me a picture of it. I was like, oh yeah, I just saw that one. Where were you? And he was like, that was made up by my shop. I was like, that wasn't even planned. I was like, why does this
That's
always
pretty
happen?
funny.
I was like, I was dating you when I took that picture too. He's like, what? I was like, tell your friends that, or I'm gonna come in and do it for you.
I did see, like, the raffle items. They looked pretty amazing, especially the flowers
Yes, yeah. No one
that you
no
did.
one knew they were actually for sale. I don't think in the end, which happens. But everyone
Oh,
wanted to take the BD ones home. I'm like, no, not those ones. I'm like, no, I do custom arrangements, but no, I did all these centerpieces last year with like women and the women, like not the green army women, but they're the pink army women, and they had
Yes.
them all like in defensive assault positions, and like there's a medic and there's a canine handler. So I was like making all these wild scenes inside of my little centerpieces. But like, I think they may have lost the remotes because they were turning like all these colors, and I was like, "Where are the remotes?" And everyone kept looking at me weird when I asked that question. So I was like, "None of you guys know where the remotes are." I'm like, why do you need to hide it in your purse for next year? So you just helping you all out. But no, it was great to see all the ladies come out. I mean, it was a full house, and definitely we have plans for next year. But if anyone wants to check it out, go to www.womenveterancalendar.com, and it will be right there for you. Let me see if I can pull it up quickly, since I'm not quick right now. Why? Example. Dislike. Okay. Oh, nope, that's a different one. All right. Women. And so this year is the first year that we have a model that is actually in both in Pinup for Vets and the Women Veteran Calendar, and they are accepting applications for the 2025, 2026. Dang, the 2024 is already almost over. That's wild.
I know. It was
What
like,
are you doing this whole time? Craziness.
I'm glad it's almost over though. It's been
Girl,
kind of a crazy year.
I know. Like one of my favorite things was the Boats and Hose 24 campaign shirt you made me for the fishing trip. It didn't happen. I'm still gonna find somewhere. I wanted to. You can't see the back and the front. Like, how would you? I would cut nipple holes out of it and I would erect it. And I would like, I don't need to see them that bad. Like, I see them enough at home. They keep popping off because they want the real thing. No,
It's so funny.
ma'am, stay where you're at. I need you to hold your position.
Oh, the
Like,
Boats
I would
and
have
Hose
flashed
shirt.
one 10 times over. See, this is why I use the tank top and I don't regret this. You do pretty good with those googly eyes, though. I'm not gonna lie.
So it's pretty sticky.
Did you use
I
super
mean,
glue?
no, it's whatever Todd had ordered for me. They were like self-adhesive, and well, I did take some alcohol and like rub them
You
down.
prep the nips. Why I couldn't rub myself down with alcohol. I would have smelled like a bar by the end of this. Like, I would soak right in.
But like, yeah, they've stayed on here pretty good. I was afraid, they just
Yeah, I thought I was. You're gonna have my problem and vice versa. Clearly, we switched plots on this, but we're gonna go ahead and wrap things up for tonight. So before we did go ahead and wrap up, is there anything that you would want our audience to know, or final thoughts for me?
I guess take care of yourself. Whether, you're a guy, a woman, whatever, make sure you do your cancer screenings and, keep up with, your family history of things so you know when to start your cancer screenings and don't like, oh, I'll do it, next month. And then of course next month turns into whatever and just don't put it off. Just get it done, get it over with. I think a lot of things that I do is like I use humor for the awareness which is why I'm like here and I've done, my April Fool's joke
Yeah, with the googly
is
eyes you're wearing now, actually. She actually
yeah,
did that to get her checkup by her doctor on April Fool's and like busted them
yeah.
out, and her doctor about died laughing.
So I use humor to make it, yes, it's still scary, but like you and I like being, EMTs, medics, like it just, we use dark humor and I figure, and I've had several people come to me and say because, of your humor and that they went and got their checks done. That's my goal. That's why I, spread the awareness. And like I said, like just do your checks, like take care of yourself, especially like if you want to be around for your family and
Yeah.
watch your kids, grandkids. And that's why I did what I did is, went and did the double mastectomy and reconstruction and all of that is because I, preparing, like I just don't want to like, so my chance of cancer for breast cancer it was pretty high, almost like 90%.
Oh,
And with me doing what I did, dropped it down to 10%.
wow. That's a
Like,
game shift.
yes. I mean, like, it doesn't mean I'm never gonna get it, but,
But
like, I mean, it went from, like, this to,
yeah,
like
like it's just like a matter of when to like you just need to make sure you're going to all your
yeah.
screenings and making sure your
Yes.
labs and everything are in order. And like I said, you can think of like simple ways. Like I know when I was married, yes, once I was married, and he was Air Force, and that's the kind of guy that you guys all want to fight. So y'all know that. I messed up once too. Anyways, but like the first of the month, that was like our thing. Like he'd always be like, "I want to check him," Like later
Yeah.
on, I feel like he kind of like checking guys more. But anyways, but at the end of the day, like just having some sort of like theme, even if it's just them reminding you, and you just check real quick in the shower,
Mhm.
or you're just more mindful that yeah, I'm getting kind of old, I'm gonna need to I'm getting up to that age. I got a 19 in front of it. Like I probably should start looking at my screenings. Not in the 2000s. Like I probably should, look into it.
Mhm.
Especially family history. It is so very important, and I can tell you there was countless times where we would find things in screenings with women because they had a very strong history of having abnormalities, whether it be
Mhm.
cysts or it be something that was cancerous. But I mean, you'd be surprised by the amount of women that they had not ever done breast exams, and they
Mhm.
didn't think that it would happen to them. And I think a lot of people think that oh it won't happen to me, or you just kind of
Mhm.
take your tatas for granted. And at the end of the day, we got to be loving on our tatas a little bit more,
Mhm.
than the guys. Sometimes
Mhm.
you got to check on them. You got to make sure that they're
Yeah,
getting
and we'll,
checked
cup you
out.
guys, make sure everything's fine.
We'll do
But
the same. I can do prostate checks, but the last time I did one on a patient, he said he would never go to jail again. Or he would break the law because he didn't want to go to jail. I was like, dude, really? Like, got some pretty thin fingers, bro. All right, that's
And,
weird.
like, yeah, you mentioned, like, y'all will never happen to us, like, because our family history was always, the usual about high blood pressure, high cholesterol, all of that. I'm like, "All right, cool." Like, we don't have to worry about cancer until, like, 2019.
Yeah,
Um, so, yes, like, just because it has not been in your family yet, just do not do your screenings.
and be mindful that a lot of genetic testing that is coming out now did not
Mhm.
exist even 10 years ago. Like
No, it
Alzheimer's
didn't.
is a very big diagnosis now that they're finding in a lot of people, and it creates a lot of
Mhm.
other medical conditions. But they recently, I mean, the genetic testing for it is still in its infancy, and there's so much
Mhm.
more that they're finding that they're able to do more genetic tests and markers on now
Mhm.
than 20 years ago even. And so
Yeah.
it's really important to just keep on top of your tatas. Like I know that's hard to say,
Yeah.
it's right in front of your face. So
Yeah. Like,
literally, like can't even look at your feet without seeing them, or at least my armpits, something like
yeah.
that. You're gonna escape out of something. That's usually what's happening. Like yeah, but like I said, guys, we want you to make sure you're taking care of yourself, and that's why we wanted to do
Mhm.
this tonight and raise a little bit of awareness. It's something that we've never done on this podcast before, and I'm thankful that we could have
No.
Amy come on and discuss it because it should be something that's talked about, and it's not always a fun
Mhm.
topic. And a lot of people
Nope.
focus on like the pink ribbons and boas, but there's quite a lot more to it, and it's so much more important
Yes.
now than ever to make sure that you're getting those exams, ladies. Especially if you're like, oh, I'm about her age, yeah, get your exams.
Yep.
Yeah,
Like, just go. Just go.
just go, just go. There's a 19 in
Just
front of
smash
it.
just smash them. Just smash them.
Why? It's always worse when
I
it's
know it's not
super cold. It's like, is there like a plate warmer? Is that like in the works for future? Like, something,
right?
just
Like, just
something.
kinda like how they
Come
have,
on, a
like, the
little.
warmed up gel for ultrasounds, like
Exactly. Like, or like the
yeah.
plastic speculum, so it's not as cold. Like, come on. I feel like it's 2024, almost 2025. Why
Yeah.
are we in some next level boob imaging stuff? And considering how much guys like talking about them, like you'd think like that would be like in the year 3000 kind
Mhm.
of technology. I don't know, just my thoughts. But
We'll get there eventually.
exactly. But tune in next week, guys. We have a great show coming up. And if you have any questions, please reach out.
Mhm.
If it's breast cancer related, if it's something about a future show that you want talked about or a topic, or if you want to come on in your specific organization, reach out to me. I love to meet different nonprofits all the time and different organizations because there's thousands and thousands in our world. So it's so important that we're sharing information rather than bogarting it. especially now. Like, kindness matters now more than ever. As much as
it does.
it can be an evil bitch at times. However, I do agree with Rosie the Riveter says in that aspect, because, just be kind to each other. It's hard to do, especially as a veteran. I can tell you that.
Or
airport
first responder. Yeah.
Exactly. Like, we say it as it is, and we usually read it 30 seconds before everyone else because that was our job. So definitely. But please reach out if you guys have questions, and I hope everyone has a great night. And let's do one more shake. Can we do one more shake? Goodbye, shimmy. So I think I'm gonna this one. No, I'm not staying on. Okay, now you're gonna stay on now. Okay, that's not stuff. I cannot really. It's like they warmed up to my tit now. Or that's whatever.
Yeah, they're just gonna.
Can't. Anyways, but all right, Relia, take us away.
Hi, I'm Aurelia. Just a reminder, smash like, hit subscribe, and click the bell. Please give me my mommy some hearts. Yay, victories!
Nah.